The U.S. military today seized a large oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Pam Bondi says the ship had been used to violate sanctions on oil from Venezuela and Iran.
This comes, of course, after U.S. forces, on orders from President Trump, have taken out more than 20 suspected drug boats near Venezuela since September, killing nearly 90 people.
The president is now turning up the heat on Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, who's been charged with narco-terrorism in the United States.
Mr. Trump hinted that the seizure of the tanker is part of an expanding pressure campaign, and Charlie D'Agata leads off with the details. Charlie?
The administration has this massive military presence in the Caribbean. They've taken out the suspected drug boats. They've sanctioned the Maduro regime, but they had not gone after the oil. Venezuela's main source of revenue until now. Video of the seizure shows helicopters approaching the tanker called the Skipper. Ropes fall and the Special Operations Forces are seen rappelling onto the ship. With weapons drawn, they took over the tanker without any resistance. No crew could be seen in the footage. It's the latest move in the administration's pressure campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening.
Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. Producing around 1 million barrels a day, much of it under U.S. sanctions. President Trump was asked what the U.S. plans to do with the oil on board the tanker.
I assume we're going to keep the
The mission also included members of the Coast Guard and the Marines, who launched from the USS Ford aircraft carrier now based in the region. It comes one day after President Trump warned that Maduro's days are numbered, adding that he has not ruled out a land invasion. Maduro did not comment on the seizure today, but at a rally in Caracas, he demanded an end to the, quote, illegal and brutal interventionism by the U.S. The Trump administration has accused Maduro of running one of the country's drug cartels and has a $50 million reward out for any information leading to his capture. Sources tell CBS News a tanker had just left a port in Venezuela when it was seized. The value of the seized oil is in the millions of dollars. The administration, those sources tell us, is considering taking more tankers.
Shalom.
Okay, Charlie.
All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the whole for the elect. All right, so you have Nero 47 and his administration. All right, they just seized a Venezuelan oil tanker. All right, basically, you know, like a modern day pirate, you know, jumped on the ship and stole everything. Which, you know, is being made manifest that this is the whole reason that they were over there. I mean, the American media is very good at using smoke screens and making another nation of people their enemy for some cause that it seemed to be just, or they make it seem to be just amongst the people, all right, while having a whole nother hidden agenda. And that smoke screen in this case was keeping fentanyl and, you know, various narcotics out of the country and protecting the border, when in all actuality they wanted to seize and take control of the oil in that land. That's why you have talks of boots possibly being on the ground in Venezuela, because America is about to make that play. All right, as far as taking the oil from, you know, who they've deemed to be their enemies, man. All right, this is just robbery. That's all it is. You know, it's no just righteous cause for it. You know, although, you know, keeping narcotics out of your society would seem to be as some righteous thing. You know, we were worried about the people and their intake of narcotics. You know, it's just that was just a smoke screen to blind you from the fact that they are indeed over there for the oil. All right, but before I get into the article, Psalms 52:2, thy tongue deviseth mischiefs. like a sharp razor working deceitfully. And you can see that through the American media. It's very deceitful, you know, regardless of what side you people identify with, whether you be a Republican or a Democrat, all right, whatever you believe in politically, you know, they all play the same game, all right? It's all deceit, all right? All of a sudden, you know, it was a talk of narcotics and all of this, and all of a sudden they stealing oil tankers and shit, all right? Then they ask Trump, they say, well, what y'all gonna do with the oil? And he say, well, I guess we'll keep it. You know, that was the play from the beginning, you know? It says, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue, you know? And that's how they devour their enemies through their media, as far as their tongue, man. All right? These people will turn the whole damn world against you, man, you know, through their media and their propaganda. It says, the Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Salah. All right, so the Most High is going to destroy this man for all his wickedness, man. All right, first and foremost, his dealings with the Israelites. All right, but even his dealings with the other nations. This man is just purely wicked, man. All right, and he's a thief. He's a proud man who can't keep it at home. All right, it says, the righteous also shall see and fear and shall laugh at him. Lo, this is the man that made not the Most High's strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches and strengthened himself in his wickedness. And that's how he strengthens, himself, you know, in his wickedness, man. All right, he steals resources, steals riches from the people. All right, because Esau believes that, you know, getting an abundance of these things is going to continue to preserve him and in the end save him. All right, but Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai don't regard the rich, you know, because he created it. It's nothing, you know, all this money and all these resources belong to the Heavenly Father. All right, so Esau thinks he's going to, you know, continue to be preserved by these things and in the end save himself with these things. But Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to take him out of the land of the living. All right, he's going to destroy him. All right. All right, U.S. sees oil tanker off Venezuelan coast, Trump says. President Donald Trump on Wednesday confirmed that the U.S. had taken control over an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, a move which risked inflaming tensions with that country. As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker off the Venezuelan, on the coast of Venezuela, Trump said. Large tanker, very large, largest one ever seized. All right, meaning it's a lot of profit. When he says the largest one ever seized, it's a lot of profit on that boat as it pertains to the oil. All right, Attorney General Pam Bondi later posted a video on X showing armed personnel rappelling onto a ship from a helicopter, then moving on deck with guns drawn. She said the FBI, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Coast Guard, with support from the Department of War, executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. All right, so, you know, like I said, it was just a pirate move, man. They just went over there and, you know, pardon the wind, man. They just went over there and jacked that damn oil tanker, man. All right, not for no righteous cause, just to seize it and take control of that oil so they can what? Make money. All right. It says for multiple years, the oil tanker has been sanctioned by the United States due to its involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. You know, foreign terrorist organizations is just a trigger word, because as soon as, especially you Americans, you hear terrorist organization, you think, oh, we got to destroy them. We got to steal everything from them. You know, we got to crush them. All right, because they media, all right, with his flattering tongue, all right, his deceitful media has taught you that these people, I mean, all the nations is wicked, but it has taught you that this is your enemy and anything that they do to these people is just. All right. It says this seizure, completed off the coast of Venezuela, was conducted safely and securely, and our investigation alongside the Department of Homeland Security to prevent the transport of sanctioned oil continues, Bondi wrote. That's just them stealing shit. All right. The president did not offer any detailed explanation for the move. Of course he didn't. Saying only that it was seized for a very good reason. Yeah, for gain, man. All right. And these people accept these vague ass answers, man. They don't question this dude. Asked what would happen to the oil tanker. What would happen to the tanker was transporting? Trump said, we keep it, I guess. Yeah, of course, because that was the play from the jump, to get the oil, man. All right. The seizure occurred in international waters, a senior U.S. official said, and proceeded without incident or casualties either among the U.S. personnel or the tanker crew. It says the vessel, named the Skipper, was carrying Venezuelan crude, the official said. The tanker had previously associated with Iranian oil, and a federal judge issued a warrant for its seizure because of those links. The move risks further escalating tensions with Venezuela, where Trump has intensified a pressure campaign aimed at forcing the nation's leader, Nicolas Maduro, out of power. The ship, which was headed to Cuba, was ultimately destined for Asia after being brokered through Cuban sellers, the senior official said, adding that additional seizures are possible in the coming weeks as the U.S. applies pressure on Maduro. In response to questions from CNN's Kristen Holmes, Trump said he had not spoken to Maduro recently and declined to say who owns the seized tanker. A statement from the Venezuelan government Wednesday said it strongly denounces the seizure and described the move as an act of international piracy. All right, you fucking pirate, man. You ever see the old pirate movies and pirate cartoons where the boat run up on each other, they get close to each other, they start jumping on the other boat, stealing shit, whooping niggas' asses. That's what this is, man. And Maduro, he said that perfectly, man. In these circumstances, the true reasons for the prolonged aggression against Venezuela have finally been revealed, the statement said. Yeah, the oil has nothing to do with narcotics coming into the U.S. All right? Everybody high in the United States, man. All right, whether it's street drugs or pharmaceutical drugs, this is the land of junkies, man. All right? It says it is not migration. It is not drug trafficking. It is not democracy. It is not human rights. It has always been about our natural wealth, our oil, our energy, the resources that belong exclusively to the Venezuelan people. Yeah, he's a proud man that can't stay at home, man. All right, this dude over there is stealing shit. And, in the spirit, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, of course, as I've, myself as well as other brothers that I've seen have made videos on this, you already knew. Been saying this for months. This about oil, man. It's about some natural resource. Because that's the only reason he, stick his nose in other countries is to steal, man. This dude is wicked, man. All right. Venezuela said it would appeal the seizure to all existing international bodies. Cuba has already been grappling with some of the worst power outages in decades, with blackouts stretching for hours, sometimes days. The communist-run island, aging energy infrastructure is dependent on oil imports, often in the form of donations coming from allies like Venezuela, Russia, and Mexico. All right, now I guarantee, the world, the third world, we're gonna escalate into that. But as we speak right now, they ain't gonna do that pirate shit to no Russian oil tankers. All right. It says the Cuban government had no immediate response to the news of the seizure of the tanker of oil heading to the island. The U.S. is now months into its pressure campaign on Venezuela that has included moving thousands of troops and a carrier strike group into the Caribbean, strikes on suspected drug boats, and repeated threats against Maduro. So far, the U.S. military has killed 87 people in the strikes that have destroyed 23 alleged drug boats, and Trump has repeatedly suggested action on land could come soon. So they're going to start putting boots on the ground. All right, and when they start putting boots on the ground, you know what it is. They're going to put boots on the ground, cause a lot of, death, okay? And then probably, build a base over there, man. That's what they do. CNN has reported the Trump administration is working on day-after plans in the event Maduro is ousted from power, according to two senior administration officials and another source familiar with the discussions. Maduro did not address the seized tanker in a speech Wednesday that was occurring as news of the U.S. move was circulating, all right? So, it's been made manifest, all right? Brothers who are in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right? Some brothers have been blessed to be seers, man. You know what this man gonna do, what he doing. All right. 3 months ago when this was being said that they over there for oil, you had people in the comment section, oh, nah, he getting drugs, we gotta keep the immigrants out. Now they on some pirate shit. Jumping on the boat, stealing shit, man. All right. So his true intentions are being made manifest. And, once they put boots on the ground, they're going to go over there, probably build a base, build some type of garrison, and occupy that land as they continue to siphon and steal oil from it, man. All right? But I ain't going to hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.